Look, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm supposed to be recording. I have a list down, but I don't know at all what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm just gonna record all these random thoughts, have these random plans, and hopefully by the end of the month, I'll know what I'm doing. Alright, so day 2. Watch list for 2021. For the rest of 2021. This is holiday plans, but this is pretty much everything. So, watch a classic. That's going to be hard. I know that's a challenge for me because I like movies that usually come from the years I've been alive. So, this is something that's going to be very helpful. So, I'm planning on watching Bonnie and Clyde this month and maybe watching something else as well. See a new release. You know, Soho is going to be out for a while. Red Notice is coming up soon, and Eternals is, at the time of recording, coming up this week. And I'm watching a bunch of mediocre romances. I've already got a list down over at Netflix. Now you kind of know what I do when it comes to streaming services. I am very intentional about it. I got Duff, Zapped, Princess Switch, Tall Girl. This is something else. This is just something I just want to watch for myself. And Don John, same thing. I've heard about that movie for a while, so I've been interested. But all these other movies, they're just whatever. So, that's why I'm intrigued to look at them, because they are just whatever. But also, I want to analyze a short film. Let's do a short one, like a short one. Haha, we should do mine. Look at it slowly. We see that he's in bed, and so automatically that's not the greatest way to start a movie. That's like any movie, especially a short film. People hate that, you know. But I think it works only because there's a reason. You know, somebody's knocking at the door. Maybe if he was watching TV, it could have been better, and maybe it would have looked better. But that's what they chose. Definitely. I like this shot right here. The previous shot was, it was okay, but this shot, is much better. I think more creative. The pulls closer into his body, what's going on. So the first one's back, the first one's closer, and the first one's very close. And then is this. He's completely unfazed by all of it. I don't know what quite to make of it. I think I need to watch it more. I would say it's pretty good. There's a little more creative choices, but for a lack of budget and a lack of resources and a lack of time, I think this works really well. So we're off to see Eternals. Second time for me, first time for her. So we're giving our first thoughts. What are your first thoughts?
I have no thoughts.
Well, expectations.
It's a Marvel movie.
So, what did I think about the movie? Eternals is different from the MCU, and I think it's a step up in the right direction. Cinema is so diverse and do a lot of things, but Marvel's just like my baby, and I care about where it goes and what's going to happen to it. So, of course, I want Marvel to grow their filmmaking and their diversity in how they represent film. And for their stylistic approach to say, oh yeah, we kind of want this more like Terrence Malick and slow things down and have more nature-centric. Again, I say Terrence Malick a lot. I mention him a lot in the most unnecessarily ways about like big action movies. But there is a sense that like his kind of style is in this movie. Chloe Zhao has been known for kind of making that kind of style, especially with Nomadland. she just knows. So seeing this and her kind of represent that in this movie is amazing, and she does it incredible. And the kind of questions that are posed in this movie, like, who does Arishem have the right to destroy the world if he created it? What is the value of humanity if they tear each other apart? And I think those questions are really good and really open up the movie, and just these are kind of things you want from movie in general, and that Marvel tapped into that, I thought was incredible. It's time to talk about Arcane. This was a show that I just learned about recently and saw the ads, and I thought, whoa, this is incredible. And then I watched the show, and whoa, it's incredible. There's only the 3 first episodes I've seen so far, so we haven't even really finished. Well, number one, the animation is so good. Like, it kind of reminds me of all those, like, game sets, or, like, all these, like, video game or board game artwork that's like, it doesn't represent what the actual content looks like, but it's like the cover and it looks gorgeous, and then they just leave it there. But this whole show has the same artwork and the same feel, and it's beautiful. They're building this world, okay, and they want you to like be invested in the world. They don't put too much at you. You know, they give you a simple story. Here's all the plot points, here's the characters, and the world just exists in the background. When they try to get themes in the show, they really push for it, and that's why I like this PG-13. They don't go full R, they don't need to, but they need to show that this is a rough, gruff world, and violence is real, and it's scary, and an authority is merciless, and there is goodness in this world. Kids are kids in this show, but they're in a horrible world. Powder has a very interesting arc because she's the innocent girl in the story, and she is one of those characters in like a kid's story that would, you know, that'd make it to the end and win. I don't want to. Well, I mean, the show's gonna be out. The show's already out. She's with the bad guys now. She's a little girl, and she's the innocent one. But because she was stabbed in the back by her own sister, now she's with the bad guys. And you can see like the hatred in her eyes, and she has good reason because she wanted to do good, and her sister just left her for dead. And that's no fault to her sister, because her sister actually saw the horror that was going on. And this first 3 episodes here, I'm still trying to see what are they gonna do next. So much to learn. I know, not my most flattering look, but this is the first time me watching SpiderMan No Way Home trailer, the second one. I heard there was a lot of things going on here. I'm super excited and super scared and it's gloomy. Whoa, I don't think I would take her near there, just...
When you botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man, we started getting some visitors.
Wait, beforehand. Wait a minute.
Hello, Peter.
This was born beforehand where they were...
You're not Peter Parker.
Of course he's not. So they're acknowledging
what was your
it.
name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Oh, so the rumors are true. They're in jail.
There are others out
So
there.
that
We need to send them back.
they're being prisoners.
So, flying out into the darkness.
Jim Gordon. Oh, he's trying to... So the rumors are true. He's trying to get away from Doctor Strange. He's fighting Doctor Strange in this movie. Okay, where's Andrew Garfield? Where's Tim Maguire? We gotta get... Okay, so this is gonna be the end of the trailer. Okay. Pause. Okay, it's the chances aren't looking great that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are coming back. I just realized there's tacos here. Kind of good at that. Let's look at a little stuff right here. Something I was really excited to see that nobody talks about is seeing these actors come together in a movie and interact. Like we see Tom Holland and Alfred Molina talk together and like like octopus and Spider-Man, but it's like different. And already he's saying like you're not Peter. It's like where's the real Peter? The real Peter. But oh man, that was one thing I've always wanted to see is like how are these actors gonna act differently? How's their relationship different? Do they have an actual relationship with Peter or with the other villains? Like I want to see Alfred Molina and William Dafoe have scenes together where they're talking about their evil plan or something. Dude, I love that. That's exactly his just because of the movie he's in, he's wearing the same suit, but like it's just darker. He looks, translating it from a different movie or a different series, but he looks the same. It has a different look, obviously. It looks good. I mean, the aesthetics are working. Number one, his suit looks just more tactical and way more like easy on the eyes. Like, did you see him back then in the days? I mean, I liked it when I was that age. I mean, I gave that movie a standing ovation, but this is much better. These streets are dangerous like Lebanon, but my face is villainous as Megatron. All right. So I was walking home today and I had this really cool idea about a short film. I was thinking about like what it must be like to like work with The Rock or make a deal with The Rock. Like Dwayne Johnson, this big guy with a great personality. Say he's a producer on this big movie series. Say I'm thinking like something as big as Star Wars. Okay? And you're a director. And it's her own personal thing. She's had think for years trying to create this thing that she's had since she's a little girl. And trajectory of this business or this franchise isn't going as well as, they keep spitting out movies that aren't very good. So she decides, I've got a script. I love it. I want to show you guys, and I have confidence in it. So they're having negotiations. They're in this room, and it's just 3 people in the room: the producer, the director, and the agent. And the agent, I'm thinking of this really snarky guy who's like, he's kind of disagreeable. She's super agreeable, and she just wants to get her movie made. And he's just like, that's not enough. She needs to get paid more for this. And I'm thinking how cool this movie was. So we start the movie and they're in the room and it's exactly as I said. Big guy, just kind of starstruck. He's like, he's got a big smile on his face and he's crossing his arms and he's like, tell me what I loved your script. I read it. I want to see what makes this special. And she goes into this really personal story about like she's dying to make this movie for so many years, and she sees the benefit of this story and the humanity of it. And then they start negotiations, and the snarky guy in the back is like, that's not enough. And the producer are talking, but it's like they're not fighting, but they're kind of, you feel the tension in the room. She doesn't like this, so she pulls the agent away and she's like, look, I don't want you to ruin this for me, okay? I know we've done a lot of short films together and a lot of indie films together, but I need this. This is so important to me. And he's like, trust me, I need you. Like, think in your mind that these two have been friends for a long time and they've had to trust each other for a long time. This, one thing I find interesting is that there's not a lot of stories about agents being the heroes or agents, fighting for their clients. It's not, you don't get that story. Usually in movies or in TV shows, the agent is somebody who's like super money hungry and doesn't care about the art at all. You see, there's this friendship that they have. Whenever I hear stories about agents and their clients, like, it's always, they believe in them, they will fight for them. And seeing that is just so cool. Even you see him up against like a producer and you love this producer, you feel starstruck when you're around him, but he doesn't, he's not quite on your side. You try and get that synergy with them, but also the agent's there and he's making things a little bit hard, so this is exciting for me. This is like, so you're seeing them and they're And now it's gotten personal. Now the producer and the agent are fighting, and they're like yelling at each other, and they're saying all these personal things about each other. You get to kind of know them and know their past, and then they're still negotiating, like, I need this and this and that. That's not enough to pay for this. Who's going to do this? We'll be shooting this thing on in corkscrews, and like, what? Like, come on. Then they go back to why this project's so important. She comes in, so it's not like she's being pushed away. She's putting her voice in. Like, while the agent's trying to battle for a good check for the project, they're still trying to add that synergy with the director and the producer, which is needed for a project. And at the end of the day, they finally, like, they settle on something, and like the producer and the agent are cool with each other. So at the end of the story, they're walking out of the room, and she looks at him and she slaps him in the face, and she gives him a hug, and that's how the story ends. All right, take two. Look good, decent. Do I look decent? I don't even care anymore. At least we have the lighting, I guess. Maybe I'm not even in frame. I don't care anymore. This is the end, and I'm going to just summarize everything that I have. Arcane was amazing. It was a great show. I think it might be the next Game of Thrones of animation. And I watched this show because of the plot. And I'm pretty proud that I was the first one in my group to know about it. And everybody, just get a crack in this show. The world is so cool, and whatever I said earlier, they expound. You remember Jinx? She's the best character in the show. She's really cool. She's like the Harley Quinn of this universe. We'll see all these characters, like the innovator scientist guy becomes now a politician, and he has to make tough decisions. He makes good or bad decisions. Sometimes it's in the muddy gray area, and the world, it's the haves and the have-nots, but now the have-nots want to become their own society. They want to become their own government. And, like, that's cool, So if you're not already in the show, get into it now before it becomes too big like Game of Thrones was. And I can't get into that now. And then remember how I said I wanted to watch not as good stuff so I can learn and become better. So I decided to watch Airplane Mode. And stories all over the place. Like, you think it's about social media and becoming an influencer, and then they switch. No, it's about plugging off your phone and being in the wilderness and having real relationships. Nope, it's about being a fashion designer. Like, it's so weird. But I learned that if you can just focus on one idea and have that spark, you can make something really good. You just need so much focus. And I realized if you focus on any of those ideas, they can be really good. And one of my favorites I focused on was maybe the relationship on her and her grandfather. They just zoom past that. But really, you can sit down and say, okay, well, I'm going to write it like this. And then you see that, like, imagine if there was this movie just about them in the woods together. And they're these strong personalities, and they're just yelling at each other, and with different philosophies and all that kind of stuff. And she's really working out through all these ideas and emotions. Incredible idea. I think it would work. Then I watched Last Night in Soho, which in theaters, I had this feeling this way was kind of like watching Knives Out in theaters for the first time, where it's all like, this might be my favorite movie of the year. And it is, really. Like, who knew? Edgar Wright. But Edgar Wright does something so cool in this story that he doesn't do in a lot of stories. It's mostly about nostalgia in the 70s in London. And you feel the style and the emotion in it, but also you know the character. You see Ellie, and she has inspiration, and she has fears, and you get to know it intimately. And she has this relationship and this bond with Anya Taylor-Joy's character, and they not in the same space, but the actors are in the same space, so you feel that connection between them. So what's next? Well, there's over 100 things I could do, but this vlog has inspired me to do a lot already. going through older movies. I failed to go through Bonnie and Clyde. Maybe I just want to go through Stanley Kubrick's filmography and learn, you know, and what the master himself can do. You know, I just want to go through good movies, analyzing good movies and bad movies and short films, and I could do all that and make my own short films, which I need to get to eventually. So, I'm signing out. This is the end of my November blog.